Oh, let's see if I can make that bigger. There you go. A lot easier to see me. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Grumpy Acres and the next video in the Full Spectrum Preparedness City Survival 101 series. Today, we're going to cover what may be the most urgent category in any survival situation: water. Whether you live in a high-rise downtown or a suburban house with a small yard, your access to clean water is not as secure as you think. Tell you what, let's bring the, there we go. Let's get the slides up there for you. In this video, we'll explore why water matters, the challenges urban and suburban preppers face, and the realistic practical solutions that you can implement now. All right, before we get going, let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Skanes is here, Leonard's here, Jane's here. Listen, if you're in chat, go ahead and get into live chat so you can see all the messages. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, think about subscribing, watch the whole video, and if you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you know the next time one of these videos come out. All right, now on to the talk. Why water is essential in full spectrum preparedness. Water is non-negotiable. You can go 3 weeks without food, but you can only go 3 days without water. Here's what makes water the top tier priority in FSP. It's required for drinking, cooking, hygiene, sanitation, and medical use. The average person needs 1 gallon per day just to survive. In a crisis, municipal water systems can fail or become contaminated without warning. Bottled water dispensers or bottled water disappears from shelves faster than toilet paper during an emergency. Water intersects with every other FSP category: medical, food, mental, spiritual health, medical, I already said medical, and even security. All right, now let's look at some of the challenges that urban and suburban preppers will face. Here's the unique problems that urban and suburban dwellers face when it comes to water preparedness. Number 1, no natural water sources. Most cities lack nearby springs, creeks, or wells. You may have a river running through your city, but chances are it's going to be polluted and undrinkable without some major filtration and sanitation. There's a dependence. The second one, there's a dependence on centralized systems. If the grid fails, so does your water. The pumps stop working, period. Number 3, limited storage space. It's hard to stash gallons of water in small apartments or garages. Number 4, HOA restrictions. This is really bad in the suburbs. Suburban areas often prohibit rain catchment or external water storage. Some states, even Colorado to name one, won't even let you collect legally rainwater. The state owns it when it falls from the sky. And finally, mobility issues. Hauling water up staircases or through dense neighborhoods is difficult. Urban water failure is a silent disaster. If the taps run dry, the panic will be immediate and widespread. All right, now here we're gonna get into the nuts and bolts here. And just like I did last week, I'm going to periodically pop into our Grumpy Acres Amazon store, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we use around here at Grumpy Acres and we've used in the past. And that way, number 1, you'll be able to see what they are. Number 2, you'll get a rough estimate on the price. And if you want to purchase it through the Grumpy Acres General Store on Amazon, go right ahead. Don't do it if you don't feel compelled to. If you're one of those people that say, I'm just on here to make a buck, then don't do it. I'm telling you right now, I would rather have you go buy it someplace where you feel comfortable than have you use the Amazon store. All right. So number 1, water storage. Start simple. Store as much clean water as you can. At a minimum, you need 1 gallon per person per day for 30 days. Ideally, you want 2 gallons per person per day, because the 1 gallon is strictly for drinking. The 2 gallons starts getting into hygiene and flushing toilets and sanitation of your eating utensils and food and cooking. So that's at 2 gallons. Now, here on the homestead during the summertime, we go through about 60 gallons of water a day just between us and the animals outside. So, the water consumption gets really big really quick. Storage options for small spaces. All right. This is where the nuts and bolts are. First thing we've got, hang on a second, I got a cat crawling on me. First thing we want to talk about is water bricks. These are stackable and discrete. And let me see, add that, let's see, remove, add that to stage. Oh no, let's make it bigger. Oh no, you guys can see it. Okay, so the water bricks. Oh, I don't have any of those in the store. Maybe I'll have to add those. Fact is, we don't use the water bricks. Period. One thing I want to do as a caveat at this point, storage containers. So the next one is 5-gallon jugs that you rotate every 6 months. Some people want to use 1-gallon milk jugs. You do not want to use 1-gallon milk jugs because they deteriorate over time. And within 6 months, you end up with jugs that will not hold their shape. If they're stacked on top of each other, they'll get crushed and they'll start leaking all over the place. I know this from firsthand experience. When we first started prepping 2.5 decades ago, that happened to me, and it made a mess in our basement. So this is something that you really need to think about. The next one is collapsible water containers. They're compact and empty, but when you fill them up, they'll hold anywhere from 1 to 5 gallons. The next one is a bathtub water bladder, also known as a water bob. These hold up to 100 gallons in a single fill up. And here, I know these are in there because we use these. So the water bob is like the Aquapod kit here. No, let me get it so you can see it. So the Aquapod kit. So basically all this is, it's this one right here. Basically what it is, it's a big plastic bag that fits in the bathtub, and then you fill it up. First sign of trouble, if it looks like the power is going to go out or the water pressure is going to disappear, put this in the tub and fill it up. Next thing we want to talk about is hidden containers. These are any containers that you can fill up and hide behind furniture or under beds or in closet. And you can see it there on the slide that you've got water bricks in a closet, and then you've got the water bricks underneath the bed. You can see them, but that bed's up on risers, so you can slide those directly underneath the bed. Next slide. Filter and purification. All right, this is probably the most important thing about storing water and your water survival. Storage alone isn't enough. You need a way to clean water from questionable sources. Have at least 2 methods of purification. Those include filters like Berkey's, Sawyer Minis, Live Straw, Katadyn. These filters will filter out down to 2 microns on the Berkey's and the Sawyer Minis. I'm not sure what the Live Straw is, but that will filter out about 99% of the heavy metals and protozoas and junk that's in your water. Another method, boiling. Boiling is always an effective way if you have the fuel. You want to bring that water to a rolling boil and let it boil for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your altitude. Next one is chemical treatment. Water purification tablets, bleach, unscented. Always want the unscented because you don't want your water smelling like lavender when you try to drink it. Or pool shock, which is calcium hydrochloride. Or chlorite. I'm sorry, not chlorite, chlorite. And this is like the H2H pods that you get for your home pool. When I was in high school, we ran a pool managing service, and we had all kinds of access to this stuff, and it works great for disinfecting water. And finally, you can use solar disinfectant. You use the SODIS method and clear PET bottles, i.e. like water bottles, in direct sunlight. You can do that to disinfect the water. It does take time, and it has to be sunny outside. One of the coolest things I saw, and I did not get a picture of it, I apologize, is somebody made a rack for holding about 200 water bottles, the little 12-ounce water bottles, about 200 of these things, and it would purify water on a sunny day in about 45 minutes. Keep in mind though, as we're talking about this, most filters remove bacteria and protozoa, but not viruses and chemicals. You may need multiple stages for truly dirty sources, i.e. that downtown river in your city. And then here, let's look at some of the things we got going on here in the Grumpy Acres store. Where is it? Let's see here. We've got, so here's some filters. If you look the second one, there's the Life Straw, and then the Sawyer Mini, and then what else we got? I know there's some tablets in here. So this Life Straw bottle right here, the Life Straw bottle on the right hand side, that's actually got a filter built in it, so you can filter out your water, pour the water in there, and then it will filter out all the nasty gunk that'll make you sick. And then we've got some portable aqua tablets that'll clean it. Thing about filters, you can buy filters. There's actually a kit. So this it's a SHTF and Go filter system right here. Yeah, you can actually make your own filter out of 5-gallon buckets using this kit. So you don't have to buy the real expensive Berkey. Now, you're not going to get as long life out of the filters as the Berkey filters, but it's also 1/3 the cost. Okay, so it's a trade-off. How much space do you have? If you don't have space for a Berkey on the counter of your apartment kitchen, buy one of these filters and a couple of empty food grade buckets, and you're good to go. All right. Next thing we want to talk about is rainwater collection, where it's legal. All right. Now here's the thing. I say where it's legal. To be honest with you, you should be collecting rainwater. I don't care where you live. If you have to do it stealthily so that the government doesn't know you're doing it, then do it that way. Your survival is more important than some regulation passed by people that have no idea how to prepare for an emergency. All right. If your city or HOA allows it, set up a rain catchment system. Even a few downspouts connected to the batteries of to barrels can yield hundreds of gallons during a storm. Use a screen and pre-filters to keep out the debris. Always filter and purify it before using or drinking. Non-drinking water sources. In a pinch, let's see, is that the next slide? I don't even remember what the next slide is. Yeah, we got non-drinking. Hey, before we go to the non-drinking, I want to show you something here. If you're looking for making your own rain barrels, this kit right here, this green tube, this rain harvesting kit here, this is you supply the 4-inch PVC pipe, and it's got the top part and the bottom part and a float in the middle that will shut off the flow. But what that is, it lets you create a first flush system. And what that is, basically, the water runs off the roof, goes down the downspout. It fills the PVC tube up first, and it'll drain by itself. There's a drain on the bottom part, but it fills up, and all the dirt and small particulate that comes down the spout goes into that instead of your rain barrel. All right, Lynn's got a question before we go on. Let's see. How do you keep mosquitoes out of your rain catchment? Standing water is a breeding ground. So you can take on your, there's several ways you can do this. Number one, you can treat the water with bleach. It's 8 drops for every gallon of water. So if you've got a 325 gallon catchment, do the math. Do the math there. How many cups or gallons of bleach that is? You can do that. That will kill all the mosquitoes off. Another way you can do it is they make a mosquito screen that you put over the inlet to your water catchment, and that will keep the mosquitoes from getting in. Here's another tip. Learn firsthand. Whenever you put your rain barrels together, make sure that they are not opaque. Make sure that the sunlight can't get into them, because even a little bit of sunlight will cause moss and stuff to grow on the inside of it. The way you do this is either you buy a barrel that is you can't see through, or B, you take 4 mil plastic. They come in great big rolls. You can get 100 foot by 6 foot for like $28, if I remember correctly. And that's enough to do 4 or 5 rain barrels. But you literally wrap the rain barrel in plastic, use duct tape to hold it all together, put it back in the cage. It'll stay nice and tight, even after the tape has lost its stickiness. And that will keep the sunlight from getting through and causing moss growth and stuff. So it's actually pretty simple. And even if you don't do that and you still get stuff growing on the inside, like I've got a barrel I haven't covered yet. I use it for the animals. The animals don't have a problem with it. I don't let it never stays full long enough to get really nasty, but it's completely usable by the animals. Now, before the end of the summer, I am going to have to take it apart and I am going to have to fix it, because it will not be able to go through the fall and winter uncovered like that. Hope that answered the question then. All right, the next one. Non-drinking water sources. In a pinch, there are multiple things you can use. Toilet tanks. The back of your toilet tank holds about 1.5 gallons of water. In the event of an emergency, you can take that, filter it, and use it to drink. All right. Hot water heaters. Conventional hot water heaters use anywhere from 30 to 50 gallons worth of water. You can turn the spigot on the bottom of them even after the water stops flowing through the taps, and gravity will empty out that tank. Again, you want to filter it and then run it through a Sawyer Mini or something. Ice in the freezer. If you've got ice in there, you can take it out and melt it and use water. Now, you'll notice here there's a lot. This is like really last ditch effort here. This is when you're really on the verge of dying from dehydration. And finally, canned goods. Fruits and vegetables contain water. These cans come in water. If you've got peaches in sugar, in heavy syrup, that's a bonus added, that you get the energy from the sugar. Oh, All American Prepper came in here. There's a man that knows a little bit about collecting water and doing it off grid. But you should know how to access this stuff and turn off your main valve to keep the water, keep contaminated water out. So what that means is if there's a boil order going on and you want clean water, first thing you should do is shut off your main water valve, because you don't want that contaminated water to get into the heater. Actually, not the main water valve, the main water valve for the heater, all right, and the toilet. Next thing of concern with urban and suburban prepping, actually any prepping, is water discipline and reuse. So we need to cultivate a way of reusing this stuff in a crisis so we can prioritize the use and conservation of water. Big one. We use this one a lot in the military. Use wet wipes instead of full washes. You take a towel bath with a wet wipe, hit all the important parts, get the major nastiness off, so you can stay healthy and you're good to go. Another one, you can reuse water for multiple tasks. Wash vegetables, then mop. This is if you're allowed to where you are, set up a gray water system. And what the gray water is any water that's not used for taking care of bodily waste, or with actually yeah, anything for bodily waste. We had a gray water system at our old house where the washing machine ran out to a little drain out by the goat pen, and that part of the yard was perpetually watered, and we had the most beautiful elderberry bushes growing there, and they were just nice and thick, and they always had a lot of stuff on them till the birds and the goats got them. Hey, Tiger. Good to see you can make it. But you want to set up a way to reclaim that water that's not contaminated with biological waste and reuse it. The stuff that goes through your sink when you're washing dishes, unconnect the pipe, stick a bucket down there, fill the bucket up, take it outside, throw it on your garden, or use it to flush the toilet. If it doesn't have a bunch of chunky stuff in it, use it to flush the toilet. Even if the water's not running, if you've got a source of water, fill up a bucket, take it in there. You can use the toilet and flush it. Now, if you're living in an urban area or suburban area, you're going to run into a problem doing that eventually, because the pumps and the grinders and everything at the water waste treatment plant will stop running, and eventually you're going to get sewage backing up into your house, and it may happen even if you're not using your toilet, and a whole bunch of other people in your neighborhood are. All right, so you got to be very careful of that. And finally, practice field hygiene to reduce illness risk while using minimal water. Get a bucket. Use a bucket for a toilet. You get a heavy duty garbage bag and some sawdust, and you can do your business in a toilet. Get a composting toilet. We've got a composting toilet that we haven't installed any place yet that runs off a 12-volt power, so it can be hooked up to a solar panel, and it will run. It's got a little fan on it to help dry everything. Then that stuff can go into the compost after it's dried out and gone through the heat and stuff. Yep, get a toilet seat. You can sit it right on top of the bucket. Or if you want to be fancy, they make toilet seats 4 or 5 gallon buckets that literally pop on there. But listen, when I was in the military, I've seen guys use ammo crates and ration crates as toilet seats. They just dig a hole and do their business on top of those. When it says the backflow valve on sewer system, I have one for that exact reason. Absolutely. Yep. And this is all about being prepared. That is part of water preparedness, because if the water stops flowing, eventually that stuff's going to back up into your basement. So you might want to do this stuff now so you're not having to worry about it later. Okay, so if you live in the suburbs, you do have some advantages over the urban dweller. All right. So those advantages are, number one, you can install larger storage tanks and barrels. You live in a house on a lot. You've got at least 4 downspouts, one on each corner, probably more if you're in a bigger house, and you can catch water. In fact, you know what? Let's go back. I want to go back a couple of slides. I did. Okay, bottom of this slide. And for the life of me, I can't read it, but along the bottom of that slide is the formula for figuring out how much water will come off your house during a 1-inch rainstorm. And basically all you do is the length times the width of your house. You find out the area of your roof, the flat space, and then you take that times 0.6, and that will tell you how many cubic feet of water will, 0.6. How many cubic feet of water will come off your roof or that flat area in a 1-hour rainstorm or a 1-inch rainstorm. Mississippi Homestead Journey, you need a shutoff valve for your sewer pipe if you live in the city. That way the backflows you'll be okay. Yep. Eastern toilets, Saudi foot pads and a hole, no seat. Yep. Same with the Binjos in Japan. Okay, let's get back to the advantages. You can install, like I said, you can install larger tanks, more of them. You can design hidden rain catchment systems. If you're out, you're doing some remodeling in your backyard and you've got a backhoe, you could dig a hole and go get a 3,000 gallon container or a septic tank and plumb it into your downspout system and have a water catchment there, a water cistern. You can bury cisterns or keep blue barrels in your garage. You can set up simple gravity-fed backup systems with a hose bib. Basically, that one, if you live in a high-rise building, this is, a lot of people don't know this. If you live in a high-rise building in the city, when most of those buildings, what they do is they pump the water to the roof, and they've got tanks on the roof, and then they let gravity feed it down to all the apartments. And the reason they do that is because it's more cost effective. It costs less money for them to pump the water to the roof than to pump water to every single apartment. So it's that you do that. So if you live in a high rise and you're on one of the lower levels, you're going to get better water pressure when the power goes out, and it's going to last longer because the water's going to flow down to your place. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people that live in the city have no idea how the water makes it to the tap. They just know they turn the tap on and boom, it's there like magic. And whether you're in the urban area or suburb, don't forget mobility. Have a backpackable system with collapsible jugs and a filter in your vehicle or bug out bag. And for that, we're going to go back to the store, and I want to show you. So these two right here on the end. All right, these are portable water bladders. The black one is the Life Straw Ultra Filter, and it runs about $190. And the other one is the Membrane Solutions water filter, and it's only like $40. So Life Straw used to have a family gravity-fed water filter system that cost around $80. We've actually got two of them here, and they'll filter about 10,000 gallons of water before they go bad. I don't know if they quit making it or they're just completely out of stock. I was unable to find one. They've got one listed on Amazon, but it's been unavailable for at least 6 months now, because I'm always looking for them. They're a great starter thing for somebody who's just getting into it. It's for a family or even an individual. It's a great thing to have as a starter thing. It's inexpensive. It's a great gift for them, and it gets them started and thinking in the right direction. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know, but the Life Straw one replaced it. Now, Lynn says you never get cold water in the summer in a high rise, room temperature at best. Absolutely. That's because the tanks are either sitting on the roof getting beat down on the sun, or they're up in the attic with all the mechanical stuff where it's always 20 degrees hotter than it is any place in the building. All right. Next topic. Well, you know what? We are getting towards the end. So here's the conclusion here. This is the call to action here. Okay, water preparedness isn't about panic. Just because the water stops running, we should not lose our minds. We should not panic. It's about peace of mind. If we know that we have a solution in place, should something happen, it's going to give us peace of mind, right? And you don't have to have a well. You need a plan to survive. All right. So here's your next step, and you can do this as a mini audit if you and see where you are, or or just starting out, this is a great way to do it. Number one, store 1 gallon of water per person per day for a 30-day supply. So family of 4, you're looking at 120 gallons, right? You can do this. The big blue food grade barrels are 55. Actually, I think they're 57 gallons, to be honest with you. But you could do that. You stick a couple, 3 of those in your garage if you're in the suburbs, and you're good to go. If you're in the city in a high rise, an urban apartment, might be a different story. You might have to get a little creative there. The second thing is add a gravity fed water filter to your setup. Get a Berkey. They make several different versions of the Berkey. They've got the travel Berkey, which is smaller. They've got the King Berkey, which is pretty darn big. You've got all kinds of different options for a gravity fed filter system for where you are. Practice using and rotating your stored water. This is important because, believe it or not, water goes stale. Now, to make it better, all you have to do is shake it up to re-aerate it, but it does go stale and it does not taste the same, especially if it's been sitting in a plastic container for 6 months. You're going to start getting that taste. One of the things, if you've ever been in the military, every canteen has that chemical taste in it from the iodine tablets that we used to use. Well, this is back in the day. I'm not sure what they use now, but we used iodine tablets. And every canteen had a funky taste to it. And it was next to impossible to get that taste out, And so that's because water was left in the canteen and it sucked up those smells and it just didn't go away. Finally, learn to identify backup water sources in your home and your neighborhood. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that should be in your kit that I am a firm believer. If you are in an urban area, actually, anywhere you are, one of the things that should be in your kit is this device right there, the second one, that little black X. That's what's called a Silcox key. Or Silcox key. And what that is, it's a key used to open industrial and commercial spigots that don't have handles on them. You should only use them in emergency. You shouldn't use them to steal water. But if you're traversing a city or you're in an area where you're in a big commercial area and water is essential for your survival, that thing will give you access to hundreds of gallons of water. Remember what I said about the way these high rises and these big office buildings store their water. If you're in New York City and you've got a Silcox key, you've got access to water for quite a while, quite honestly. Lynn says he has a 75-gallon fish tank. If it comes to it, those fish are food and I'll filter the water. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. There's the scene in the remake of Dawn of the Dead where the guy eats his fish and starts drinking the water because he's been without water for 30 days. Or he's been surviving on minimal water for 30 days. That's one of the things about water. We take it for granted because it's always there. If you live in America, chances are 99.9% of the people in this country have running water and they fully expect it to come out of the tap. The food's going to run out slowly. You can stretch 3 days worth of food into 9 days. Water, it's exponentially harder to stretch it out because when you start dehydrating, your body starts shutting down and it happens really quick. And I know this firsthand because when I was in the Gulf, I got dehydrated. There were some extenuating circumstances there. Not an excuse. It's just I got dehydrated and I ended up in the sick bay. They put 9 units of saline in me, and it was 6 before I felt I had to go to the restroom. If that tells you how dehydrated I was. So yeah, your body, and it's not a fun thing to go through. All right. So that's about it for the video. They're relatively quick compared to last week. Pretty simple though, guys. Seriously. Water survival is not that hard as long as you're prepared for it. As long as you understand what the limitations are and what you need to do, it's very easy to prepare for. It's a heck of a lot easier to prepare for than food. If you live someplace where it rains, it's dead simple. Now, if you're living in the desert, that's a whole different story. You just add an extra layer of complexity there, but you can still do it. The Native Americans did it for centuries. All right. In the next episode of City Survival 101, we're going to cover shelter. And in this context, it's going to be about how to harden your home and make it livable during long-term emergencies. Like I said at the beginning, if you found this video helpful and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button. More importantly, I think this is probably the most important thing about this survival series that we're doing. If you know somebody that lives in an urban or suburban area and they are just waking up, or they're not fully cognizant of what's going on, send this video to them. Share this with them so that they can learn about how to be prepared in the setting they are. It can be daunting. I'm telling you that it's a heck of a lot easier to be prepared on rural property than it is in the city or in the suburbs. Let's face it. Despite all its appearances of being rock solid, urban life is very fragile. Once the systems start failing, they fail really quick and things get bad before people know it. So with full spectrum preparedness, though, you won't be fragile. If you're living in the city, full spectrum preparedness will harden you and inoculate you against the bad things that happen when this infrastructure goes away. All right. Well, this is the end of the video. Again, like, subscribe, share, notify, do all that stuff. I need you guys to stay alert. I need you guys to stay ready. And I need you to go out tomorrow and go live a life done free. Okay? Take care, y'all.